Activity resides in your soul, so we need healing.
Because even the young men there, they're looking for beautiful girls. But your beauty, definitely, they won't see inside. It's only God who sees inside. They will see from the outward.
When you move towards realization, you need to heal.
I hope you've picked one or two tips around how you can define your own beauty standard.
So every problem, every pain, every negativity, they store up in your soul. That pain will reside in your soul. So every negativity resides in your soul, so we need healing.
Because even the young men there, they're looking for beautiful girls. But your beauty, definitely, they won't see inside. It's only God who sees inside. They will see from the outward.
When you move towards realization, you need to heal.
I hope you've picked one or two tips around how you can define your own beauty standard.
So every problem, every pain, every negativity, they store up in your soul. That pain will reside in your soul. So every negativity resides in your soul, so we need healing.
Because even the young men there, they're looking for beautiful girls. But your beauty, definitely, they won't see inside. It's only God who sees inside. They will see from the outward.
When you move towards realization, you need to heal.
I hope you've...
Welcome to Adorable Woman, right here on Light TV Zambia, where we celebrate women making an impact in various areas of life: business, leadership, purpose, and transformation. Today, we are honored to be hosting an inspiring entrepreneur, mentor, speaker, author, and business strategist whose journey continues to inspire many young people and professionals across different spaces. Our guest is Prisha Muyelekan Sofa, founder of Primstar Fashion and Events Limited, a purpose-driven brand that combines entrepreneurship, empowerment, and transformation. With over 10 years of experience in business development, media, mentorship, and leadership, Prisha has continued to build a strong and authentic personal brand rooted in purpose, influence, professionalism, and service. She is also the author of the book entitled Until We Win and has featured on major media platforms including ZNBC, QTV, KNCTV, BBC Natulandi, and Zambia Daily Mail. Today we discuss an important and timely topic: personal branding, understanding how individuals can intentionally build their identity, influence, and reputation and visibility in today's world. Prisha, welcome to Adorable Woman.
Thank you so much.
It's lovely to see you here today.
It's good to see you too.
And
at home.
I'm super excited to talk about what is your area of influence and expertise. So in simple terms, how would you define personal branding?
I would define it as how you want people to see you,
right,
in connection to your values.
Okay.
So it's that self-expression. So we know who we are, but personal branding is helping people see who we really are.
Okay.
Yeah.
In simple terms.
Yes.
Okay, in simple terms. So in today's world, why is personal branding such a big thing? Is it something that's always been a big deal, or it's more pronounced now? What would you say?
I think it's more pronounced now. It has always been there. We just didn't define it that way.
Okay.
Right. So personal branding is more like an advert. So the advert invites people in, but then the real brand is the experience that people get out of what they see.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's always been important. It's really something that we must consider in our day-to-day lives, because it's a thing that opens opportunities.
Right.
So we see adverts all the time. So your brand is like an advert.
Okay.
It's a thing that people see before they even encounter you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And at what point in your own life did you decide that personal branding was something that you were going to focus on and build up?
So it came as a core.
Okay.
I was off social media for a really long time, and during that time I was reading a lot, and I was having my personal devotion with God, and I felt a deep call within me to step out there and just to begin to share from my experiences, the different seasons and the different lessons that the Holy Spirit was teaching me in that season.
Right.
And so I opened up a page on Facebook,
Right.
and I began to express myself in that manner,
Right.
just sharing the daily lessons that I was learning through the Word, through different encounters with people, with life. And then I realized I did not call it a brand then.
Okay.
It was only later on that I realized that I had established a brand.
A brand through that process.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
You know, like when people go out onto social media
Yeah.
and they're beginning, sometimes they know what it is they want to talk about in the initial. But from what you're saying, your thought was not so much building a brand, but sharing your thoughts.
Yes.
How did you know that you are now ready to turn it, let's say, into something that would sell maybe your services or your products? At what point did you redefine what you were doing on social media?
When demand came.
When demand came, okay?
Yes. So
tell us about that.
I step out onto this platform and I'm sharing my experiences. I'm sharing what I'm learning in the different seasons. I love to read, so I'm sharing what I'm learning through what I'm reading. And then I started to get invitations to speak, to collaborate on different projects.
Right.
So then I realized, I must be doing something. So how do I package what I am doing since there's already demand for it?
Right.
Yeah, in a way that I now become a little bit more intentional in capturing the audience that I want.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know, the thought that keeps coming to my mind is, how does a person perhaps who is a bit more reserved and not so confident about maybe speaking on camera or sharing their thoughts altogether, what sort of a process would you advise someone to go through if they're just beginning?
Yeah, it starts with self-awareness.
Okay.
I wouldn't advise somebody to rush to become visible. I think that nature itself reveals to us processes. You know, life is about seasons.
Yeah.
Life is also about process. And attaining visibility prematurely, can be something that that wouldn't serve you well.
Right.
It can even kill the very thing that you're trying to
build. Yeah.
So it's very important to understand the process and also the season that you're in. Remember, like I said, before I became visible, I was in the background.
Right.
I was reading, I was investing in myself. And part of the content that I was consuming was how to know myself well. Because before you can inspire and before you can also attain certain levels of influence, you have to be at a place where you know yourself.
Right.
You know what matters to you. You know what your values are.
Right.
You know what you're not willing to compromise. That way, when you step on a platform, because remember, on this platform, on these platforms, there's so many things that are coming to us.
Right.
So if you're not well grounded in who you are, you will begin to. Today, you'll be sharing about your experiences, maybe in line with motherhood, whether it's parenting or it's marriage.
Right.
And then the next thing you'll be like, oh, I'm not very popular with what I'm discussing right now.
Right.
I think
Switch.
politics, I think politics would get me
more attention. Yeah.
So it's never about attention. It's more about who am I?
Right.
What matters to me? What do I want to communicate? And then from there, it becomes easier to communicate who you are, and platforms begin to present themselves.
Right.
Yeah. So you find that the more knowledge you acquire, the more confident you become. Because it's very difficult to communicate what you don't know.
Right.
But when you're in that place where you're being processed, by the time that the platform is coming, you know exactly what you're going to share.
Wow.
And so confidence comes from that place of process. So if you are not processed, I think that is where you should begin.
Wow.
And not just say, oh, okay, I want to be visible.
Yeah.
I want to be a brand. Because who are you?
Right.
I think that's where we should start.
Who are you? Wow. And why should people care, I suppose?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So did you get any mentorship around that, or did you train yourself? Did you perhaps go to a mastermind? Did you join a program? What did that process look like for you? Because you're saying you had to do the work before you went out and put yourself out there. So what sort of a process did it look like?
Okay, so I would say I've been mentored by different women in different seasons.
Right.
And at the time, I didn't even know that I was being mentored. I just thought that I was serving in church under this woman of God, and I didn't know. Oh, it's only now that I can put a name to it and say, oh, that was mentorship.
That was what that was. Yeah.
Yes. So it started when I found myself in a very broken place, and I was searching for answers, and I was really void. I think at that point, that was the time when I believe I was being rebuilt, if I may put it that way. And so I gave my life to Christ, and I was under the mentorship of a very wonderful and amazing woman. I think she laid the foundation of prayer, the Word of God. And so at that point, because I didn't know who I was, I'm trying to figure out who I am. And here's this woman who sees me, because sometimes we're working with people, but not everybody sees us.
Right.
And this woman began to call out the greatness in me.
You.
Yeah.
Right.
She's late now.
Oh.
Maminata, yes.
Right.
She's late now.
Oh.
Maminata, yes.
Yes.
Her name was Maminata. And when I met her, I didn't know who I was. I was struggling. We talked about confidence. I was struggling with my confidence. And then she meets me at that point, and she teaches me the Word of God.
Right.
She teaches me warfare, teaches me so many things that I needed to deal with at that point in my life. And so those were the foundational years of my walk with Christ. And I can point to her as a mentor. So she was my mentor at that point. And then later on, I have met other amazing women who have spoken to different aspects of my life.
Right.
But I would say that when I look at the story of the prophet Samuel, when he first heard the call of God, he didn't even know that it was God calling him.
There you go.
And then there was Eli pointing him to the voice of God,
Yeah.
and teaching him to say, okay, if you hear this voice again, this is what you do. And I feel like my journey is similar to that. So at the beginning, I had people that I worked with closely that really pointed me to the voice of God and helped me get to know myself and who I am. And so as I continued that walk with God, and I began to understand, oh, this is how God speaks to me, and I began to learn myself, I was able to hear the voice of God for myself.
Okay.
So that does not mean that I'm not under any kind of mentorship. It's just that it's different now.
Okay.
As you get older, I might not serve as much as I used to
before,
because as a person who's got a job, who's a mother, who's a wife, it's taken a different form.
Right.
But I do find ways that I can still submit to authority. But I'm at a place where I can now hear the voice of God for myself, and I can understand the different times and seasons that I'm in, and I know that when I'm in prayer, I know, okay, this is the direction that God wants me to move into.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
In a nutshell, that's what my process has looked like.
Wow. And it's a bit like a bamboo plant, bamboo shoot.
Yes.
We're told that the roots tend to go into the ground for years. Before you even see anything on the top, you know. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then what I would like to know now is, are you doing that for anyone? Are you calling out young people and people in your life, like young women, to walk with you and to show them the way? Or is there another expression that this gift is showing up in your life for others?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the ways I am intentional about speaking to young people, especially on the platforms that
you have,
that I have, and one of my major platforms is obviously my blog. Like I said, when I first felt the call to begin to share the lessons that I've learned along the way, it was through a page. So I started a page. I think it's been now almost 7 years of blogging.
Right.
Yes. So when I started blogging and all these platforms began to appear, so I was a bit more intentional about speaking about self-development, growth, preservation, and things like that. So because it's something that flows within me naturally. I find myself talking about it all the time.
Right.
Every time I'm with a young person, I'm getting my nails done, and I'm seated across a younger woman, and she's telling me about her issues, and I'm like, listen,
There is a way.
Yes, absolutely.
There is
So
a way.
it's something that flows naturally. So
Yeah.
whenever I get the opportunity, and I think that's something that sometimes we don't realize. We all have an audience,
There you go.
and we're constantly speaking, and they are learning from us. And it might be directly or indirectly, but it's that young woman who's doing your hair, doing your nails. It's your younger sister, and they need voices in their lives that point them in the right direction.
There you go.
So whenever you have an opportunity and you stand before somebody who you know would need
Whatever you need to say.
exactly,
Yeah.
just make sure that you, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you give them the best of your time. Yeah.
Wow. And what does a day in your life look like? You are working, you are a business owner, you are a homemaker, you are an influencer, you are a brand. How do you manage your day on a day-to-day basis? What does a day in your life look like?
So a typical day, Monday to Friday, obviously starts with home. Sometimes it can be a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
You know, with babies running up and down, trying to get ready for work. Yeah, but what has helped me is just having systems in place.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm a mom, so I prioritize what is important to me. So what is important to me, firstly, is my relationship with God, right? So I love to observe my prayer time, my quiet time, because it settles everything else that's going to flow through the day.
There you go.
So I always make sure whether I'm going to spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour in prayer, that is important to me because it sets the tone for the day. And then, of course, I have to make sure that before I leave the house, my babies are taken care of. You know, my husband has what he needs. And so the system that I have in my home is obviously I have help.
Yeah.
I can't leave home without the extra help. So a nanny, a house help, just living instructions, and then there's my 9 to 5. So from 8 to 17, I'm engaged at my workplace. So I have to do whatever I need to do within that time to make sure that when I leave home, I probably won't pick your call. Yeah, because at that point,
That time is blocked.
Yes, that time is blocked. And then I do have, during that quiet time, there are times when I do find time, or even during breaks during the day, where I can write something for my blog. And weekends are for my business. But during the day, I still find time when I can check in. Yeah, so the business has its own system, a manager, employees, that I can check up on maybe on Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how my day looks like. So most of the times when I get to work, I literally have to write down the tasks for the day so that I don't miss anything. So I've got tasks for home, tasks for the business, tasks for my page. Is there anything that I need to do today that I need to be on this priority list? What can be pushed to tomorrow?
To another day.
What can be pushed to over the weekend? Yeah. So that's how I manage my days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very organized. That is very, very, very organized. And did you learn that from somebody, or was that the process of you taking time away, taking time from the limelight to sort that out? How did you get to that point where you knew this is a system that works and you put it into place? How did that happen for you?
I feel it's a work in progress because it doesn't always
It's not perfect.
It doesn't always feel organized.
Yeah.
So there are times when, let's say, there are days when my day starts off like I'm so certain today
It'll
is
go
about
this
work.
direction.
Yeah, but then there's an emergency at home or my daughter is not feeling well. So then I shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we always have to have flexibility within these systems, knowing that plans can be disrupted at any day. So I have to focus on what needs my attention right now. So maybe when I was planning on Saturday, I may have said, okay, this week is for my business, or this week I have to focus on my personal brand, or I have to focus on my business brand. But then there's an emergency at home. So because home is important to me, it means everything else will have to hold. Then I can attend to that. So I'm constantly juggling these
fine-tuning
roles.
fine-tuning it to see
So it's
where...
not a perfect system, but it works. Yeah.
So you fine-tune it until you're at the frequency that works, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. And what do you do in terms of self-care? You know, like a woman generally, whether you are in full-time employment or you're a stay-at-home mom, there are a lot of demands on your life regardless.
Yeah.
So what does your self-care routine look like? What do you do for you? Not for your family, not for work, not for your marriage, not for your kids. What do you do for you?
I get myself that suit.
Really?
I think at the end of the day, it's about looking at what is important to you. What makes me happy? There was a day I was feeling so stressed and I saw this nice pair of shoes and I bought it for myself and it just changed everything.
Yeah.
So what's important to me may be different
to the next person.
But it goes back to knowing who you are. What is the thing that inspires me? I love quiet places.
There you go.
I love places that are beautiful and that have plants. I love plants. So sometimes just buying myself a plant. Sometimes going into my garden and you know, looking at a plant and it's giving me babies. I say that I'm a plant grandmother because the plants that I bought have given me new babies. So sometimes I'm just in that corner. I recently created a small space in my garden where I just have my plants there.
There you go.
And sometimes I just go there and I look at the plants, I tend to them, and it calms me. So it's getting what I love and also creating spaces that inspire me.
There you go.
So that little corner, it's something small within the yard, but it's something that makes me relax and breathe. It's something for me. You might not love plants, but I do.
So everybody needs to find, every adorable woman needs to find her own space.
Yes. For others, it's cooking.
There you go.
Yeah. So you get those ingredients that you love. You know, you can cook. It can be plants. It can be reading. I love to read. So sometimes I just tell my husband, like, I just need 30 minutes
for myself.
To myself. Just a quiet space because I have 2 little ones. So sometimes they demand attention, and I feel like, okay, right now I need me time because that time is important for me to be a great mom and a great wife.
There you go.
If I compromise on that, I'm going to compromise on everything else. So if it's 30 minutes, whether it's 30 minutes, 15 minutes, take that time to just care for yourself. Do something that you love. I do that. Even just a bar of chocolate changes everything for me.
There you go. So paying attention to you because you don't want to be pouring out of an empty cup. And you want to give your very best.
Very well put.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But then what sort of sacrifice goes into creating a brand that sticks? Right? Because if I'm picking everything from what you're saying, you have to be ready to put in the time. You have to be consistent. You need to create systems. And sometimes some of those things don't really sound so exciting, but you have to keep doing them. So what sort of sacrifice is involved in building a personal brand?
Delayed gratification. That's one of them. Because you gave an example of a bamboo tree, right? Look at how much it takes before that thing shoots
out.
It takes maybe 5 years of pouring into the ground, watering it every day without seeing any results. That is a sacrifice. You know, building a brand. I remember when I started, before I opened up a physical salon, a physical store. I had just graduated from university. There were no jobs, and I do hair. I'm a hairdresser, and even before I graduated, I kept asking myself, why do I braid hair? Why did God give me this gift? Was it for me to sit on? Is it something that I can use? So in university, I used to braid hair. So I continued doing that while I was waiting for employment.
There you go.
And so I would go into people's homes, and what I was earning was very minimal. But I had something to myself, for myself. So I wasn't asking for airtime. I wasn't asking people for money. I was earning my own money, and so it took time. Was it hard? Absolutely, because some of my friends had already gotten into employment just after graduation.
Straight out of graduation,
They already had good jobs. They were already driving. I had to work. I had to go to that lady's place where I was doing their hair, and sometimes I would meet my friends. Sometimes I'm doing my friends hair, like, I started ordering things from China, and I would go to people's offices, selling the shoes, selling the clothes. Was it difficult? Yes. But it was part of the process. Did it seem like I didn't know what I was doing? Was it embarrassing to some people? Yes, you have a degree. Why are you braiding hair? Why are you walking around like somebody who's never been to school? So those are the sacrifices that you have to make. But you have to be very clear about where you are going and understand that this is a season. I want to go there, but I have to start here for me to get there.
And there's steps in between.
Absolutely. So throughout that process, I was learning business. I was building clientele. Some of my clients who I used to braid in university are still my clients today.
Wow.
That's a stretch of over 10 years. Do you know how many clients I have? But if I was not ready or willing to braid that person there, they would not have been my client today. But sometimes we want to say, oh, I want to have this clothing store and I have so many clients, not knowing that the client that you're serving today can evolve into the client that you sell suits
for
to.
years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So delayed gratification is one of the sacrifices that you have to make. You have to be willing to put in the work today for what you want to see tomorrow. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Viewers, this has been the first segment. We are just going to go on a short break. And when we're back, we'll keep unpacking the process of personal branding.
That pain will reside in your soul. So every negativity resides in your soul. So we need healing.
Because even the young men, they're looking for beautiful girls. But your beauty, definitely, they won't see inside. It's only God who sees inside. They will see from the outward.
When you move towards realization, you need to heal.
I hope you've picked 1 or 2 tips around how you can define your own beauty standard.
So every problem, every pain, every negativity, they store up in your soul.
Christ Life is more than a school. It's a nurturing community. Our qualified teachers use innovative methods that keep the minds and hearts of our students engaged. Our cafeteria isn't just a place to eat. It's a hub of nourishment and community. Our sports activities are always filled with fun and creativity that promote teamwork and confidence in every child. With access to the latest educational software, learners are prepared for the digital age with confidence and creativity, empowering students with skills in and out of the classroom. Swimming is a life skill that is cardinal for survival. Our ballet programs teaches more than just dance. It installs grace, discipline, and expression. The heart of knowledge builds in our school library with a wide collection of fiction, non-fiction, reference material, and digital resources. Our school offers exciting and safe playground facilities for both ECE and primary students. Safety is our top priority, and our drivers are carefully selected for their professionalism and commitment to the well-being of our students. At Christ Life School, we believe education is not just about passing exams, it's about preparation. So, if you are looking for a school that feels like home, where your child will be known, loved, and challenged to reach their highest potential, then Christ Life School is the place.
That pain will reside in your soul. So every negativity resides in your soul. So we need healing.
Because even the young men, they're looking for beautiful girls. But your beauty, definitely, they won't see inside. It's only God who sees inside. They will see from the outward.
When you move towards realization, you need to heal.
I hope you've picked 1 or 2 tips around.
We are back with our next segment of Adorable Woman, and now we're going to talk about defining success. So tell me, what does success look like for you? Like, how did you know that this is a journey or this is the roadmap that I'll use in order for me to measure whether I'm successful or not?
So when I was 16 years old, I read a book that has stayed with me for all these years. It was a book by Jim Davidson titled How to Plan Your Life. And in that book, he defined success as knowing what you should do and doing well whatever it is that you know you should do. So when I look at success, I define it in my own terms. Because we cannot define success based on other people's terms, because we come from different backgrounds and we have different contexts.
There you go.
So, for instance, if you come from a background where people were not getting educated, your definition of success would be, I need to complete grade 12, I need to go to college, I need to secure a job. For somebody else who's got, who comes from a background where they have professors, being a professor might come naturally. Maybe their definition of success is owning an airline. So that is different. So for me as a mother, it would be, what do I need to do better as a mom, looking at where I come from?
There you go.
What lessons have I learned? What have I seen in my own family that I want to improve? As a wife, how do I want to be a better wife to my husband? So I look at that and I define success as just doing whatever is placed in my hands.
Doing it well. There you go. So there's no running away from asking those questions.
No.
Sitting down and going through every area of your life and measuring whether you're moving forward or going round and round in circles.
Absolutely.
Wow. You know, I'd like to find out something from you. Sometimes people confuse branding with popularity. You know, you've got numbers, let's say, on social media, and that is the only definition that you use for your brand. What would your comment be on that?
I think popularity is very easy, especially now with what we have on Facebook, because you can simply open up a page and boost it, and you have the numbers. But branding is what people remember about you, the impact that you leave, something that it's the impression, something that is so impactful that even in your absence, people give reference to you. Say, I'm here because of that person. I learned this because of that person. So it's the impact that you leave, more than just the numbers, but it's the impact that you leave behind. It's the memory that is left when you leave.
When you're in the room.
Exactly.
Okay. What do people learn from you, or what impression, as you were saying, do they get when you're not there?
Yes.
Wow.
It's something that stays with people. Long after you've left the room.
And in your case, what do you want people to say about you and your brand?
I learned something. I'll keep going back to the fact that it wasn't my intention to become a brand. It was through the impact itself that I decided, okay, let me be a little bit more intentional. One of my earliest memories of impact, I must have been in high school. And there was a man who used to live by our cottage. He was renting there. And we were having a conversation, and he was telling me about his plans and his dreams. I was still a teenager then. He was telling me about his plans, what he intended to do. And I don't know where that came from, but I was like, do you know that sometimes people die with plans?
Really?
Yes.
How did he take that comment?
Like, do you know people die with plans? Because you might turn 90
and you haven't done anything.
And you haven't done anything, and it would just be you telling your grandkids about these great plans that you used to have. And the man left 2 weeks after to pursue his dreams.
Really?
So for me, that is impact. And I've had a lot of people come to me and say, oh, I started my business, I listened to you, and this is how my business is doing. So I would like to be remembered as a person who helped people get started. Who helped people see what they couldn't see in themselves. And also the possibility of what could be done. I think that is what I would love to be remembered for.
Wow. That's so deep. That is really, really deep. And speaking about people not getting up and doing what it is that they ought to do, what do you think is the hindrance? Like, what are people afraid of You know, did you also struggle at some point to keep going? Because you've spoken about being in an area of influence for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, so how did you keep going? How did you keep getting up and going and pushing and building, even when you were discouraged? What did you do to get to that place?
I remembered that this life is not a rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
This is it.
This is it. There's no final
We're not
act.
coming back.
Yeah.
So having that in mind, I realized whatever I need to do,
Mm-hmm.
I have to do it now.
Yeah.
I'm not a cat. I don't have 9 lives, if that's true.
We haven't proved it yet.
Yes. So if I'm not coming back,
Mm-hmm.
then what I have in my hands is all I've got.
Yeah.
So I have to live intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I like the hourglass because it really tells that, you know, every day we wake up, we are one day closer to the day we're going to exit
Mm-hmm.
this world.
Yeah.
So as we are doing that, I always ask myself, am I doing the thing I was placed on this earth to do?
Yeah.
Am I ready to meet my maker?
Mm-hmm.
When I cross over to the other side, is he going to say, well done, good and faithful servant?
There you go.
Like, welcome back home.
Mm-hmm.
Or am I going to be like that that servant in the Bible, that the story of the servants with the talents,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Who decided to bury his
Yeah.
one
And
talent.
forget about doing anything with it.
Yes. Is God going to look at me and say, I gave you one and you
Mhm.
multiplied it.
Mm-hmm.
I gave you two and you multiplied it.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, I think fear comes from looking at what other people have.
Yeah.
And so there is no industry that is not saturated.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the clothing business, talk about food,
Mm-hmm.
talk about plants,
Mm-hmm.
talk about the corporate world.
Yeah.
It's saturated everywhere.
Personal grooming.
Yes,
Mhm.
everywhere you go,
Mhm.
people are already doing it.
Yeah.
But sometimes the fear is, will people accept me?
There you go. Inner fears.
Am I good enough?
Mm-hmm.
Also, you might look at somebody who's got 5 talents, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And you're like, but they have more.
Mm.
That's why they're able to do more.
Yeah.
But God is not measuring you based on the
Someone
gifts that
else.
He did not give you.
Yeah.
He's just looking at what you have. Like, what are you doing
With what you already
with
have.
what you already have?
Yeah.
I think so. That has been my motivation over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in rooms where I felt really small.
Mm-hmm.
I've shared platforms with people who I was like, wow,
Mm.
you inspire me. What am I even doing here?
Sitting next to you. Yeah.
Yes, but it is that understanding that helped me present what I had.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm not going to bury my one.
No. I'll just grow it, whatever the case may be.
Yes, because
Yeah.
I know God is rooting for me. It's
Mhm.
like, there's my daughter.
Mhm.
Look at what she's doing with her
Mhm.
one.
There you
And at
go.
the end of the day, I'm looking at what God has given to me,
Mhm.
and He's the one. He's my biggest audience.
Mhm.
And every time I'm like, okay, Lord, what are you saying?
Mhm.
Should I do this?
Mhm.
Because audiences out there are so different,
Yeah.
and they might turn on you today. Today they're clapping for
Yeah.
you.
Next minute
The other
they're
day-
bullying you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my biggest audience, I like to say I perform for an audience of one,
There you go.
my Heavenly Father.
Mhm.
And so I want to be about my Father's business,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, Lord, is this where you want me to
Mhm.
be? Is this what you want me to do? And
Yeah.
if there's a go ahead
Mhm.
from headquarters,
Mhm.
then I'm good to go.
Stamp of approval.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. So do you narrow your area of influence to only one platform, or do you spread yourself on different platforms? How do you manage your brand?
So I love to say that the common denominator in my brand is that I'm a communicator.
That's your
So-
strongest gift.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
a communicator, and
Mhm.
communication comes in different forms.
Mhm.
So when I'm blogging
Mhm.
and I'm writing, I'm still a communicator.
Yeah.
I'm just using it in writing.
Mhm.
When I'm speaking, I'm
Mhm.
still communicating. I'm
Mhm.
just speaking.
Yeah.
Right. So the different the platforms may be different,
Mhm.
but the denominator is the same. I
Mhm.
communicate,
Yeah.
and I love to say I love to communicate the different lessons that I've learned in
Mhm.
different seasons,
Mhm.
and how, and my relationship with God and how my walk with God has
Mhm.
impacted all these different aspects of who I am.
There you go.
Yeah.
And what season are you in now? Would you care to share?
Yes, so I'm now in a season where I'm making appearances again.
Okay.
I'm speaking again.
Mhm.
I was in a season where I was newly married, little children. I was trying to settle down as a wife. What does this look like? Me being a public figure. What does this look like for our setup? Because before I was doing it as a single person. Now I'm doing it as
someone's wife.
Someone's wife.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? So there was a time when me and my husband needed us time. We have to be rooted in our marriage. We have to be rooted in who we are as parents.
There you go.
So we needed a time to ourselves. So I wasn't very busy on all these platforms. Because what was important to me then was to get established in these new roles that I had. And so now I'm in a different season where I can share. I can share again my experiences. Maybe sharing about marriage and children is I believe I'm still a novice. You know, I'm still learning.
But there's still lessons in there, regardless.
Absolutely.
Regardless, because if you're a day married or a mom of a day old, you're still ahead of someone who isn't yet there.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And so I'm just in a season where I can now begin to share again. I can make more appearances again. Because initially I had a 1-year-old, then I had another one. And so I couldn't easily move.
Yeah.
But now my babies are grown. So I'm in that season where I can leave them at home and check up on them later. Yeah.
And how important is it, do you think, for someone as a young woman, perhaps on the threshold of starting a family, to be clear about who she is outside of this new identity that she's going to assume, right? Because you began to work and build up who you are way before you settled in your home and were married and had kids and so on. So how do you balance the two? There's no guarantee, mind, that the person you're going to be with will support what you're doing. So do you have a conversation ahead of time, or is this something that your partner will just see as you are going along? What's your opinion about that?
I think it goes back to what we discussed earlier. It's very important to know yourself.
Yeah.
Before any platform presents itself.
Yeah.
Because marriage is a platform. So all these things, motherhood, that's like a different platform.
Yeah.
So before all these things come to you, you have to know, who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I really? What is important to me? Because when you define what is important to you, even the selection of your partner changes.
Yeah.
I think I was having a conversation with a young lady yesterday, and I was telling them about how what I was looking for in a partner changed so much after I gave my life to God and I got to know myself a little bit better. Because it was no longer about what car does he drive. It was no longer about,
what job does he have?
What job does he have?
What
and,
area
can we
code
go
does
to the
he live in?
Maldives? Yes. So it now became, how aligned is he with where I'm going? Because I have to submit to this man. So is there room for me to grow in what God has called me to be?
Yeah.
Because even though we might not be doing the same thing, but can he accommodate who I am? And so already the selection, the criteria for selection became different when I got to know who I am. So I'm not just accepting any proposal because the proposal has come.
There, yeah.
But then I get to vet the man. Okay, in terms of faith, faith is very important to me. How aligned are we?
In terms of our beliefs.
Exactly. Can I worship freely with this person? Can I express who I am? Can I talk about the Holy Spirit, or is it going to be offensive?
There you go.
You know, so
Very,
all
very
those
important.
things mattered.
Yeah.
Are we going to be having debates about Sunday and Monday and Tuesday worship, right? So all those things.
Bible study.
Yes, and the Word of God.
Yeah.
And, or are we going to be having debates about, the Bible, who wrote it, and men wrote it, and it wasn't the Spirit.
Don't
How did the
speak
Spirit
in public.
Yeah, so I had to come to a place where I got to understand who I am first. And then when I looked at the proposals that were coming, I was able to just align with the one that I knew. I think this I
Looks
can do.
closer to.
Yes, because you have to be with somebody who, the Bible says, can two walk together
Unless they're in
agree?
agreement. There you go.
So you have to be with somebody who you agree with. And that's what it was for me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I answered the
You
question.
you have, because,
Yeah.
and you know the reason why I'm asking is because we are speaking to adorable women out
Yeah.
there, and sometimes as a woman, by virtue of the background we're coming from, you hinted to that, you get swallowed, you know, in somebody else's program.
Yeah.
Your family history, your setbacks, your limitations, your fears, and all these things, and there's hardly a moment
Yeah.
for you to sit quietly, as you said, and really get to know who you really are,
Yeah.
and have the courage to not be apologetic,
Yes.
right? Because from what you're saying, I'm sure some of your suitors may have felt, why is she turning me down? I seem to be,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
every woman's dream, and
Yeah.
yet she's turning me down.
Yeah.
You know, so you really have
It's about
spoken.
destiny, and it's
Yeah.
important to have the tough conversations early.
Yeah,
Because whether you have them today or not, they are coming.
yeah. You can't run away
And,
from
and,
them.
you, and you don't want to have them when it's a little bit too late.
Yeah.
Because remember, when you are getting married, both of you have never been, or except for people that are
Remarrying, yeah.
both of you have never been here before. And you still need to allow yourselves to grow and to evolve, because who we were when we first got married is not who we are today.
Yeah.
Because when we met, I was just Prisha and he was him, and now I'm a mom, he's a dad. So we constantly have to allow ourselves to evolve. But what is important are the core values. So those are the foundational. That's the foundation
On
for
which you
you.
build. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're always looking at, okay, what's important to us? Our faith is very important, because on this foundation we are raising our children as
There you
well.
go.
So even as we evolve, the foundation remains the same,
Yeah.
because we're
That doesn't
building.
change.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're building on that foundation.
Wow, wow. And you know, like that building, because it's monotonous in a way. You know, it's like you're placing one brick on top of another,
Yeah.
and you know, have to make sure it's aligned and it's not out of balance.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone in terms of what it looks like to keep consistent, so that your brand is not thrown off and people are not confused
Yeah.
with your messaging? How do you get clear on your messaging?
I think it still goes back to the foundation, because it forms who you are in the long run.
Yeah.
So the longer you stay in the place of process, the easier it will be when you are out there, because you won't run away from yourself.
Yeah.
So I believe that it's very, very important to be grounded in who you are as a woman, who you are, especially with how God sees you, because that is the message that you will, how you see yourself is how you will constantly communicate to other people. I remember one day I wasn't feeling too well, so I wore something very warm, and everyone around me is not wearing warm things. I'm like, aren't you guys feeling cold?
Yeah, but that's your experience at that
That
minute.
is my
Yeah.
experience. And so I want to give my daughters jerseys because this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So it's important to have checks and balances to always make sure that we are okay. Because if we don't make sure we are okay, so in that case, the example I'm giving, if I don't take time to ask, how's the weather? Maybe there's something wrong with me. I will communicate from a place of pain.
Yeah.
And it will change. So just because I've been communicating a certain way and I don't realize at what point I begin to miss it,
Yeah.
I might begin to pour out of a vessel which is not okay.
Yeah.
So it's very important to have a team around me that also holds me accountable and says, oh, what you are saying is because you're not well. You know, don't make everybody wear jerseys
Yeah.
because you are not okay.
feeling all right. Yeah.
So make sure you're okay. You're wearing a jersey, so you step aside, let other people communicate
on.
what is right,
Yeah.
and then when you're okay, you can begin to communicate again. So I think it's for you to be consistent. You also have to have people, a strong team around you, people who you are accountable to, who can see
Yeah.
when you are losing it. Because sometimes when we begin to lose it, we might not be aware.
Yeah.
We
We're
might
the
not
last person to see it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I didn't know I'm not feeling well. But people can see, like, look, everybody else can see that the weather is okay.
Yeah.
So there's something
I don't
wrong
wanna
with
wear
you.
something
So
warm.
you deal with that issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very important for us to have people we are accountable to. Where when we change, you know, it's not always evolving, because sometimes you think that you have evolved.
Yeah.
But then there are people who can look at you and say, you're not very consistent with how you started.
Yeah.
You're now compromising. You know, things that used to be
important
are no longer important
Yeah.
to you. Why is that?
Yeah.
And then you begin to investigate. You know, even in a marriage setup, why are you allowing certain things to happen? You know, why are you dressed like that before? Why was decency important? Why is decency not important to you now?
Yeah.
So you need to investigate what has gotten into you that is making you change your message,
your boundaries,
Yes.
your perimeters.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow, it has been such a joy speaking to you, Prisha. And I wish we could go on and on and on. Like as you respond and share what branding is about and your personal story, there are just so many things, you know, that I could ask, so many lessons that we could unpack.
Yeah.
We definitely need to make another date when you can come back to
I'll be happy to be
Adorable Woman, so that we can go ahead and keep teaching about what it means to define yourself, what it means to sacrifice, what it looks like for the long term, how important and influential your brand really is. And it's not a brand that just people see on the outside. It's every day, your every waking moment. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. And I've learned a lot, by the way. It's like a free consultation, but thank you. Thank you so
That's
much.
humbling to hear.
Thank you so much for
me.
being here and for pouring into adorable women out there. And we hope to see you again.
I hope to be back.
Thank you so much. So that's a wrap for Adorable Woman for today. I hope you have been able to pick a lesson or two that will help you build up your personal brand. And until we see you next time with another lovely topic, hopefully it might be Prisha, you never know. But thank you so much for staying tuned, and God bless.
That pain will reside in your soul. So every negativity resides in your soul. So we need healing.
Because even the young men, they're looking for beautiful girls. But your beauty, definitely, they won't see inside. It's only God who sees inside. They will see from the outward.
When you move towards realization, you need to heal.
I hope you've picked one or two tips around how you can define your own beauty standard.
So every problem, every pain, every negativity, they store up in your soul. That pain will reside in your soul. So every